How dangerous are cyber attacks to national security? Digital threats are growing for both governments and businesses around the world. The recent hack of America's largest pipeline was a wake-up call to how vulnerable a country can be. After the attack, the US saw severe fuel shortages that lasted days.
The biggest fuel pipeline system in the United States remains crippled by a cyber attack that's being called the worst of its kind in the US.
In the aftermath of the attack, panic buying, spurred by fears of fuel shortages and a rise in gas prices, left several gas stations with long lines as people hoarded gasoline.
Colonial paid a ransom of around $5 million to take back control of its operations. The most recent ransomware attack came from a Russian-linked group and affected hundreds of businesses worldwide, including 200 US companies. Here's how much damage it caused.
A notorious crew of cyber crooks linked to Russia is demanding $70 million in Bitcoin to unfreeze computers at hundreds of companies around the world,
including Swedish grocery chain Co-op, which had to close most of its 800 stores for a second day because their cash register software shut down.
The same group is also reportedly responsible for last month's attack on JBS, the world's biggest meat processing company. It too was hit by ransomware, which shut down its systems in the US, Canada, and Australia.
JBS forced to curtail operations after a ransomware attack. At least 6 plants in the US shut down.
Other recent attacks have targeted healthcare systems, including in Ireland, which saw its National Health Service crippled during the height of the COVID-19 pandemic.
And Irish officials say hospitals can't even carry out routine diagnostic procedures. There are significant delays in emergency departments, and even basic communications are impossible.
So how do these hacks actually work? In a typical attack, cyber criminals break into a corporate network. They use a variety of methods, including phishing emails, along with tainted links and downloads. The malware can also be introduced physically by inserting a USB drive into a computer. Once inside, they lock up the data, paralyzing the operation. Hackers will then demand payment in exchange for a decryption key to regain access to their systems. Over the last 3 years, ransomware attacks have gone up 400% and netted hundreds of millions of dollars. Even modest predictions say ransomware hacks could generate tens of billions of dollars by 2030. Ransom payments are generally made in Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies to hide the criminals' tracks.
To have your data restored, the virus demands you send the hackers a payment in Bitcoin. If you don't pay up, your files will be lost forever, which is why most businesses end up paying the ransom.
But recent cyber attacks are causing a stir among regulators who fear ransomware could plague the world of crypto.
As ransomware attacks rose around the world, Russia, the US, and other countries agreed not to hack each other's critical infrastructure and to not harbor cyber criminals. But there's a recurring pattern on who's getting attacked and who isn't. According to the Washington Post, the ransomware hackers suspected of targeting Colonial Pipeline and other businesses have refrained from attacking Russia. The US says Russia appears to be the base for cyber criminal groups like DarkSide and Revil. But when asked why his government wasn't cracking down on suspected hackers, Russia's President Vladimir Putin gave this response.
We in Russia cannot prosecute anyone as long as they have not violated Russian law.
Governments and businesses around the globe are taking new precautions to combat disruptive ransomware attacks.
The White House in particular in the last day has really put out this call to business owners. It includes things like make sure that your employees are using two-factor authentication.
Cyber criminals are posing a significant threat to national security, and governments are taking notice. It's a war in a new realm where traditional forms of military power can be ineffective against an enemy that operates in a more hidden world.